County.
Oh, yay!
Yeah. So you may know the Wiese family. Even. So, but anyway, it's always a treat to have you on campus. Jen is so busy right now too. I see the activity on LinkedIn and the travels. You have to hustle, right?
Yeah, you do.
So we're just going to start with a little background, and then Jen has a special treat for you in terms of something that you don't normally see speakers do in class. So we'll share that in just a minute.
All right.
So just share a little background. How'd you start your business? All those things.
All right.
Family background.
Okay. All right. Well, I am a Hoosier, so I grew up here in Indiana, lived most of my life in Fort Wayne, and then I'm a Cardinal. So I was here in the 80s, so 83 to 87. And then I spent my career here at Ball State in fashion, merchandising, and marketing. So I had a really great experience at Ball State. And then I spent the majority of my career in fashion, design, and merchandising in Florida and back in Indiana. Then got married, started having babies, and then kind of hung up my career hat for a bit. And we had 4 babies in 5 years. And then kind of fast forward to 2007, our oldest was diagnosed with autism. And so that gave us a little shift in our plan. No one really plans for things to, not go as planned. And so to have a child with a disability was definitely not in our plan. And so we had to shift. And my husband and I just really looked for information far and wide on autism and how we could help support our son and help him live the best life possible. And so we found some really good, powerful information at an autism conference in Vancouver. And there we learned about gluten-free and why that's important, and why I'm sharing that with you at the beginning of our story is because that is really the heartbeat of our company. And back then, I had no plans to start a company. I had no experience or no exposure to food manufacturing. I was a fashion girl, that was not part of my world. But because of our son and we were looking at how could we support him, we went to this autism conference, learned about gluten-free and how that could be impactful for him. And that sent us on a whole different journey, a journey of looking at food as medicine. And so through that journey and that discovery process, we uncovered that there was a massive gap in the marketplace for tasty, gluten-free food that was made with simple, real ingredients. And so that's kind of the backstory of why I'm here. I think why, Dr. Rob invited me here to talk about my journey and creating a business and growing a business and surviving a business over some, really difficult challenges through growth and capital and all those kind of things that are part of a business. So.
Yeah, you brought up challenges. So,
yeah.
What would you say is maybe a major challenge you faced in the last few years with the business, and how did you handle that? How did you get through that?
I would say the biggest challenges, kind of from the beginning for us, have been capital. The consumer packaged goods industry is a very cash-intensive business. So you think about why is that specific for that industry? Because you have to upfront all the costs before you get paid. So you have to create a product, and in doing that, you have packaging, you have manufacturing, you have raw ingredients, you have personnel, you have insurances and certificates and all kinds of things. All those things are paid up front, and many times you don't get paid for 30 or sometimes 60 days. So it requires a lot of cash up front. to really kind of support and get that kind of a business started. And so what we have just had to be creative over the years. You know, COVID was really difficult for us. And what was even harder was we overcame it, we survived it, but then 2 years later, it was still difficult. So there were still challenges that were coming up 2 years later, and those were, remnants of COVID, but they were showing their heads in a different way, things that we've had never experienced before. So we just had to continually be innovative, like always looking for how do we overcome this challenge. So looking for how do we bring in other talent into our company, how do we use our resources to the best of our abilities, and always looking to do better. One of my mottos is like better today than yesterday. So even if that's just one little teeny iota of a piece of being better, always look at how we can grow and be better and have a bigger impact than we did yesterday.
So I shared with them that you're a Ball State family.
Yeah.
You, your husband Michael, and all of your kids. And are they all? I know at least 3 of them are out.
They all are. Yes,
They're
they are
all
all
out now.
graduated. Yes,
So all 4,
as
right?
of 2 years. Yes.
So maybe thinking about from your, it might have been a while ago, but you and I were in those seats.
Yeah.
And your kids were in those seats more recently.
Right.
And so maybe what would you say to the class in terms of how they should approach something like this? Like how, when you have a guest on campus, when you have, when you're in the presence of a business owner or really anybody in industry, what would be some advice? We haven't done this before, but what would be some advice of coming into this, like with the right kind of frame of mind, and what would your advice be?
I always appreciate when people are inquisitive, right? So I always appreciate questions. I think that's just a really nice way to be open, be open to be obviously, like don't be on your phone, right? You know what I mean? Like all those kind of things. Like just, be aware and be listening for, even if, not all of you, I'm sure, are interested in building a food business, right? But there are likely things that, hopefully there's one little nugget of something that I'm going to say to you today that will plant a seed or that will encourage you. So I would say just being open and, being inquisitive, whether that's asking a question now or maybe later. Because I'll share my information. If you don't already have my contact information, I'll share that because I love to connect and I love to share and I love to be involved in other people's lives. So.
Yeah. Okay. So have your questions. Get those. Write them down. Whatever. One of the things we do that's a little different now is with this class, I have them for every class. They have to do their 3 key insights. And their 1 golden nugget. Because I feel like there's always something to take away from, like you said, even if it's not exactly what you're interested in.
Right.
So, and we try to share those with our guests.
I love that. So I love that you do that.
Some highlights. So, we keep their names private, but we try to share a little bit of, just for encouragement.
I know, and it is very encouraging. So I always look forward to that. I know you've shared those things usually on LinkedIn or something. I think that usually is where I read them, and it's very encouraging. So I always appreciate that.
Yeah. All right, so you have some photos. I don't want to forget
Yeah,
about these.
yeah.
So let's see what we have here. You want to walk us through some of these?
Of course. So I just put a little collection of photos together to kind of show a little bit of our growth, where we started. So me up there on the, right-hand top corner holding a mixing bowl. That was me in the very, very early days. And it's just an example of where I started and how far we've come. So in the very, very early days, I rented a little kitchen. For those of you who are Noblesville people, Logan Street, it's the Noble Coffee and Tea right now, but it used to be Logan Street Marketplace, which was a deli. And so they leased me their kitchen. So I would do my order baking in that little kitchen after they closed and into the wee hours of the morning. So.
Yeah, and really, you started off with, you just made this for your son, right?
I did.
And your family.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe neighbors, people in the neighborhood, they ended up eating it, and then you started getting, people were begging for it.
Yeah.
And then you did farmers markets.
Then we did farmers markets,
Yeah.
and then we did farmers markets for a couple years, and then I finally just made the jump to making it like an official, legitimate business.
Yeah.
And then started delivering. I had this little, it was like a Tupperware tote, and I would put my orders in that, and I would make deliveries all over town. And now, the picture in the middle, that's Costco. That's an order for Costco. So that was 7 truckloads, full semi-truckloads of our Warrior Snack Mix that went out. So, and then the picture just following across the screen of me in front of Hudson, that's Hudson News in airports. We're in airports all over the country right now with our Warrior Snack Mix. And so if you're traveling, take a peek at Hudson News. And I love photos too, so if you ever want to send me a photo or tag it on social media or something, I always really appreciate that. And on the end there, that's our oldest son. This is an old picture, but that's our oldest son, August. He goes by Augie. He was in sports. I don't know, something in sports was his degree. So he's a sports guy. And then just some other photos down here, me in front of, in the Kroger corporate office. And then this was, I have a chalkboard in our office that I'm a very visual person. So it's taken me a while to really kind of find it's taken me a while to really just own how I learn the best and try not to adopt all the other things that are coming in. Technology is great, and I use technology a lot, but I need to write it down, and I need to see it, and that's just the way I learn, and that's just, so it's just kind of one of the things I do. And then our story is really about a promise. It's about a promise that I made to my son when he was born, that I would be the best mom possible, and that I would do the best I could to give him the best life. So I try to hold on to that and remember that promise in kind of everything I do.
Very cool.
And then just a little bit about us. This is like a building. I don't know if you remember that or not, but it built, the text builds. Okay. So just another picture of my son, and I think it's obvious how much I love him. And so anyhow, so we started, when we went to that autism conference, we started looking at food as medicine. And that was kind of new for us. That was back in 2007. That is super popular now. We're hearing that all over the place in the media, and like everywhere you look on the news, and everything is food as medicine. But then it wasn't that popular. So we started looking at how do we adopt healthy options to feed our body and fuel our body from the inside out. And that was the birth of our Warrior Snack Mix. And so that was the birth of that.
Okay, so
yeah.
we'll come back to that. That was the sneak peek. So of what Jen will be sharing with you.
Mm-hmm.
So you took the ELI assessment, I don't know, a few years ago, I think, at this
yeah.
point. And you scored out as a builder, so like a business builder, systems, processes,
Right.
all those things. Building scale, which we've already heard, it had to move from garage to kind of a rented out kitchen to, so she's been scaling the business. So I guess the first question around that, and the students have taken that, and we've had class sessions on it. The first question around that though is like, how do you identify with that role type? And then the next question is just how have you built your business around that, and then built people around you?
I think the first thing is really identifying my strengths and my weaknesses, and knowing that I am a builder type personality helps me to understand what my team needs to be. Like, who are the people around me that need to have different strengths and abilities that I don't have. So I think that's definitely one. And then I think that's the biggest one, really. And then, we try, our team is, we're small. We're like mighty, but we're little. There's 5 of us at the core of BeeFree. And so it's really important that everybody kind of stays in their lane, knows what their strength is, stays in their lane, uses the resources, stays connected to the rest of the team so that we together can just like move as this engine and continue to build and just really thrive on our resources and our shared talents.
So I'm going to share the story of when we visited your location. So when we visited their distribution center last winter, right, with a group of students, just to bring the family and how you just make it happen. So they have a new-ish product, sort of, little snack bars, and they had gotten a big order from Meyer, right?
Oh,
And so, but they've heard this from other speakers, that it's just supply chain challenges.
Oh, sure.
And so there's a lot that goes into it. It's not just the product, it's the packaging, it's the box it goes in, it's the box that the boxes go in. It's all of that. And so I think for simplicity's sake, I'll say your cardboard or packaging suppliers. The night we were there, her husband, son's girlfriend were working on the supplier of the cardboard boxes and the boxes that the product goes in, like the retail box. They said, we can get you boxes, but we can't put them together for you or whatever. The whole process couldn't happen. So they were gluing boxes, unfolding them, gluing boxes together, packaging.
With hot glue guns.
Yes. So sometimes you have to make things happen, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
Things don't just magically happen. Sometimes you have to pull the troops in and just make it happen,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And I mean, thank you for sharing that story. That was a good memory. It also helps keep you humble too,
Yeah.
and it opens your eyes to, oh my gosh, like I thought we were way past this. You know what I mean? Like, we've been in business for 15 years. Why are these things still happening? But they do, like they just do happen. So, yeah, that was a good one.
Well, and if you don't get tested, you really find out how much you can do when your back's against the wall too.
You do. And those kind of things have happened where, like at the beginning, we're thinking, I can't remember how many thousands of boxes we built. And we just called everybody. We called everybody. My mom, my 85-year-old mother was in there with a glue gun, gluing boxes together. Yeah. So, it also is, when things like that happen and you call in the troops for help, it also is very heartwarming to see who shows up. So we have been very, very blessed with a team and a community that really rallies around us and supports us. And they show up when we ask for help. They show up. Yeah. But it's the biggest thing. It's a bigger thing too, because I'm a Midwest girl, and I, as a lot of Midwest people are, not always easy to ask for help. That's my personality. Part of it's being in the Midwest as well too. But asking for help has not always been easy for me. So that's been something that I've really had to learn. It also gives people, when you ask for help, even though it's hard sometimes, it also gives other people an opportunity to participate, right? You're giving someone else the chance and a gift to participate in something that they might not otherwise have been able to.
Yeah. Going back to the builder kind of profile, the style, you do a lot of evangelism for your product, and maybe it isn't your first, talent. Maybe it's not your first the priority or thing, but it becomes your first priority really quickly, and somebody has to be that like torch carrier.
Right.
So sometimes you do things that we have to do a little bit of everything with the business.
For sure. Yeah, we do. And yeah, I have really, hopefully, you've seen a progression in my ability to speak. You know, I've been coming to your classes for 3+ years maybe.
Yeah.
And the first one, I'm just going to tell you, was not pretty. But I have had to overcome fear of public speaking, lots of fears, you know, of failure, just lots and lots of fears. But you're right, if you have big goals and big visions and big dreams, and you've led the charge, you need to get used to and comfortable with being uncomfortable.
And limited resources.
And
it's
limited
not like
resources.
You could go hire a chief evangelist or chief marketing person.
Exactly.
That could do that in the beginning. Maybe
Right.
Someday, right?
Yeah, someday.
So,
yeah.
by the way, there's a good lesson hidden in her comments there. She was actually really good the first time. But if you hadn't done something like that a lot, you could have kind of like an imposter syndrome or something.
100%.
And so just keep that in mind. You may be better than you think, and you may not give yourself enough credit.
Well,
So,
I think most people are they're you know, their own worst critic,
yeah.
right? I mean, no one's going to criticize me as much as I will.
Yeah. All right. So what we're going to share with you, and I've been at this for a while here over the years of doing the entrepreneurship class, leading the classroom. And I first of all, I've never had a guest share their pitch deck with students. I don't think it's something that people normally do. They might share like one slide or something,
Yeah.
or two, where a student would tend to see slide decks the most would be like in a textbook. You know, which the slide deck may or may not be real. It may be sanitized. Who
Of
knows?
course.
So,
Of course.
or it may be kind of built for a textbook. Who knows? But this is the real deal that you're about to kind of get walked through. And actually, the first slide was the about us. So I kind of messed up with the clicker.
Yeah.
But we're back. So you want to walk? We have already hit this slide, but
Yeah.
maybe talk about what you would share with different audiences. So you're selling to buyers, like for
Right.
Kroger or any of these grocery chains or Costco, but you're also selling to funders. You know, you're trying to get investment capital.
Right.
You might, in the future, you might use this to sell to bring on a new team member or something like that. So there's all kinds of ways you could use this.
Sure.
But maybe walk us through not only the content, but like why would you have that slide?
Sure.
Okay?
Yeah. So I actually lead with this regardless of the audience I'm speaking to. This is usually my lead-in slide or something similar to this because number one, I want to tell a story and pictures tell a beautiful story, right? And then also I think it helps lay the groundwork for why you do what you do. You know, so if you start with my why, and this is my why right there, it really just kind of helps set the tone for the rest of your communication and the rest of your time together.
Okay.
So I think I'm going to stand up here if that's okay.
Yeah. Whatever you.
If I can see it better and then.
Yeah.
Am I okay sound-wise? Okay. So let me just give a little preface on this as well too. My husband and I in 2022, 2021, were part of an accelerator program for emerging food brands called SKU. And the home base is Austin, Texas. And so we, because of COVID, they went virtual. So for 6 months, we had a weekly 1-hour virtual meeting with a team of guiders, what am I trying to say, like mentors, coaches, that we were assigned to through the SKU program. And the idea for the accelerator was to identify where some of the opportunities are in your business, how you can grow, how you could do a better job and grow your company. And then at the end, if you were interested in doing fundraising, there would be an opportunity for that. So, so this was the pitch deck that we put together when we were in our SKU program. So number one, I say that because it's a little outdated. A lot's happened since then, but also I just kind of wanted to lay the groundwork of that's where this came from. And so part of the instruction that we went through was, how do you build a pitch deck? So this pitch deck that we're using was really an example of some of the guidance that we received while we were in the SKU program. So one of the things that we learned was early on, after you tell your why and your base story, your base founder story, you're going to want to let your audience know that there was a problem that you identified, something you identified as to why what you do, why your product is important. The product is important because we identified a problem, and the problem was what we were told was healthy, when we really looked closer, wasn't actually as healthy as we thought it was. So here we have Bare Naked. Bare Naked has 11 grams of sugar, comparing it to our product of 6 grams, 6 grams less. And then I think there are, if you continue to click, there's 2 others. There's another brand that uses highly processed oils, uses coconut oil, and then the third identifier was there are some cheap ingredients in some of the other national brands out there. Looking to really kind of dial nutrition and kind of some of those things. BeeFree has 79% nuts and seeds. So.
Yeah, and one of the things with the project they're working on now is looking at opportunity through the lens of current customer experience.
Okay.
So just trying to help them, it's not just classroom stuff, it's relevant, but you've identified 3 kind of troughs and the customer experience that was out there at the time.
Exactly. It's also a lesson in doing your homework and knowing your competition. So our solution is Voice, that is all plant-based in the United States. We're a certified women-owned business. We have a B Corp certification pending. Paleo-friendly, which actually, this is interesting because 4 years ago, paleo was super hot. Everybody know what paleo is now? You see paleo on any products when you're out in the marketplace? Not so much. It's really not. It kind of faded away. Free has remained strong and continues to grow. So those are some of the certifications that our product holds. Yep, plant-based, gluten and grain-free. And then just some of the hallmarks of our product. It's power-packed, chewy and soft chunks, made with diced almonds, sunflower seeds, and pumpkin seeds. Real ingredients that you can see in every.
Yeah, so picture you are the Kroger buyer, and or your potential investor. You're taking this in, and it has to be a compelling story, an alternative to what's out there. Right.
And then we took the time to survey our customers, and we learned that what's most important in consumers that when they're buying their snacks. Number one, number two, they're paying attention to the sugar content, and they're looking for lower sugar content foods, and 49% are looking for gluten-free. So why that matters is you can see how we stack up our product across the top line with the green check mark, stacks up against some of the other brands that you'll find in the granola category across the country.
And if you're an entrepreneurship major or minor, or you're going to launch a business someday, like etch this type of chart in your brain. because this is something that really every good business plan, every pitch deck would have. Comparison of what's our place at the table in this industry?
Yeah. I just had a review with one of our brokers that's helping prepare our Kroger presentation that's coming up next week. And this was one of them that she said, I mean, we changed it a little bit, but she's like, this out of the whole entire deck is the most compelling because it's very clear. You see those check. It's very easy to understand. You can see exactly where we stack up. So also making information and data really easy to digest for a busy buyer or a busy investor. Most of the times we get to walk through these presentations either virtual or live if possible, but sometimes we don't. Sometimes we just have to send it on its way and somebody looks at it. The more you can make it super concise and super easy to read and digest, the better, and your audience will appreciate it.
Yeah, because if you had to have one slide that would exemplify value proposition, this would certainly be helpful.
It would, yeah. For sure. Yep.
Okay.
And then just really understanding your market. So that the more you can understand and more you can do your research on your specific product, your specific category, and the industry, the better. And this is just an example of that. And just a little bit more data on what's important: clean label, gluten-free, growing, and continues to grow. And then I can tell you long, right? I can tell you how good snack mix is, how many people love it. It's so good. Everybody wants to have it on their store shelf. You as an investor definitely want to invest in this company because we're so great, right? But when you have people that have tasted your product, that have purchased your product, those are the people that really matter. Those engagements, those comments, those are the things that really matter and that really speak volume because it's a third party. I'm not paying anyone to say things like that about our company. And so that's just super valuable. So I think just keeping that, sometimes it's easy for us, like when you love something so much, you've created something with your heart and your blood and your sweat and your tears. You believe it, you think it's the best, and you want to tell everyone how great it is. And that's fine, but finding parties, finding other people who can speak for you, that is way stronger than what you can say about your own product.
Market validation.
Yeah. So there's an example of that. I can tell you all day how 5-star reviews speak for themselves.
Yeah, and along those lines, listening to feedback, as you know, one of our mantras in this class is feedback is a gift. Mm-hmm. And I think of over the years the things that usually I'll share, like, hey, just so you know, if you order on Amazon, the product gets pretty beaten up by the time you get it. So they've addressed those things.
Yeah.
And we've already heard it, but very politely. But feedback and the importance of that.
Teachable is really a really great skill, and not taking things too personally. Yeah. We created that product I created that product in my kitchen, but people say me not all the time, but I hear it. Oh, I don't like that. Oh, I would never eat that. Or so you just have to not take things personally and pull the nuggets of information and just grow some thick skin because everybody has a different opinion.
Yeah, and you have to figure out what to act on.
What you do.
Yeah. Okay.
Remind me, I have something on that later that I want to come back to.
Okay.
And here's all investors see your growth. They want to see your growth trajectory. They want to see where you've been, where you are now, and what you view and what your goals are for the future. And so this is an example of that. When we started in 2014, Our first year sales were $47,000. And then you can see that between 2014 and 2019, we had a compounded annual growth rate of 102.6%. So those were some fun years.
And then COVID hit.
And then COVID, yeah. And then we rebounded, and then we retracted a little bit. So 2022 wasn't exactly where we thought it was going to be. It's not where we planned it to be. And we've had some struggles, you know, over the last couple years specifically because of that, just trying to rebound really hard hits. And just, you know, for some of you to kind of look behind the curtain on why that would be. You know, a lot of companies grew, a lot of food brands grew during COVID and after COVID because they were optimized online. We were not. So that was definitely part of our growth, our pivot, and our struggle. So
just the timing of, you just weren't quite there on the
we weren't
online.
quite there yet. Like we were moving opportunities, you know, to really gain online, but we just weren't there yet, and so we had to get there fast. Yeah. And investors always know, what are you going to do with the money? You're going to break it down. How are you going to use it, and how then will that, you know, turn out to be a return on investment? So this is how we broke ours down. We were raising, our ask was $750,000. We ended up raising over $1 million. $1 million pitch deck. This pitch deck helped us raise $1 million. And so we broke it down in those areas. Manufacturing, we knew we needed more talent. We knew we needed to do more in marketing. We wanted to add a new product, and came up to $750,000.
Yeah.
It's nice to show your team too. Others want to know that you're not just a one-person show anymore. That's fine. Where and what kind of industry you're in, it helps build some credibility to your potential investors if you can show that they're you. You know, that has additional resources and talent.
Yeah, and then just to backtrack a little bit on the investment, because I don't think we always understand a little bit, but like you were in a Costco, California last week.
2 weeks ago.
Two
Yeah.
weeks ago. Yeah. And there's a lot that goes in from an investment standpoint. Not only the cost to get out there, stay out there, all of the samples you're giving away,
Right.
but then just the inventory to back it,
Right.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
that's all an investment with no guaranteed return.
That was a total dice. We totally rolled the dice on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're talking, I don't know, like if it's thousands of dollars, tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
And you know, there are points where you have to take a risk and say, okay, and for them, they've been there before, so you have
Yes.
a little background to know
Yes.
it's more mitigated.
Yeah. That was like that investment for us to get out there. All that was just under $10,000. But when we get the business, it's $1 million.
Yeah, there
Yeah.
you go. Okay.
And just acknowledging our mentor team. I mentioned SKU as our accelerator team, and so these were our mentor team, and we still stay in touch with them. They still follow along and cheer us on, and some of this list here are our investors.
So talking about that, there's credibility there. I see Hershey, I see
Yeah.
Pepsi. So if you're looking to sell to a Kroger buyer or a Costco buyer or an investor, there's instant credibility in those brands.
Right.
And they're connected to the right people. Is the SKU group you were a part of is just finding an industry group that can help you navigate things that other people have already navigated.
Right.
And just things to keep in mind. So.
And then always remember your contact information, deck.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So that was the pitch deck, and I think a really unique opportunity for you to get walked through. What does a pitch deck look like? Why would you have that slide? By the way, how many slides? How many slides do you think were there in the pitch deck? 20 what? 10? 12? It's not very many, 10 maybe?
10.
Yeah.
10's a pretty good number.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you don't, I think, and I see this with some of the trade groups that we do, like business improvement projects with and stuff, and, you know, they'll come in with like 60 slides and you're like, no, you need less, you know, think like 3-4 minutes a slide, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
less is better, what do you really need to share, and what will be most powerful in what's needed to tell your story, really, and,
Yeah.
and to convince someone that you're investment worthy.
Right.
So, and risk worthy. Okay, so, thinking about your leadership style, your values, your mission, you've talked about mission a fair amount already, but like how do those things, how do your values and your purpose really impact how you run your business, how you go about your business?
It's the heartbeat of our business. It really is. It's the heartbeat of our business, and because I started this business with a helpful mind, right? It's woven into everything we do, and then this. Hopefully, I'm not jumping ahead, but you can steer me around if you want to. So we are a mission-driven business because we have an autism job training center that comes right alongside BeeFree. And so looking at when I started BeeFree in 2010 with the vision of, you know, I really just wanted to do good. I wanted to offer people access to gluten-free food that was really tasty, that would enhance their life and would make their life easier, because gluten-free at that time was really hard to find. Couldn't find really good things on the shelf that were grab and go. So that was really my vision, was that. But I also knew in my heart that I wanted it to mean something different than just a food product on a shelf. In the early days, I just didn't know what that looked like, you know? But I always had, that was planted in my heart and in my mind. I just didn't know what it looked like. So as the years went by, as I'm, you know, trying to build this business, I'm trying to be a good listener, my son is going through some serious challenges getting work, like trying to get his first job. And so it was kind of our exposure through that of what are some of the challenges that people with disabilities, specifically autism, because that's my world and that's my, you know, frame of reference, what are some of the things that they're challenged with? And there were a lot. And then it was like this light bulb went off. I was like, all right, so how about we just create a solution for that? How about we just look at what can we do in our little town, even though we're just little Noblesville, Indiana, how can one person and one little company start to make a difference in other people's lives on a more meaningful way than just a product? So we did a big, bold thing, and we put a blue symbol on the front of our package that says Autism Jobs Provider. And that logo is on the front of all of our packaging, regardless of what product it is. So now we have 3 different products, and that was a big, bold move for us. Number one, because it's a little dance between product and mission. You know what I mean? Like marrying those two is really important, and identifying them as part of a brand is important. But we never want people to really identify. We want them to identify authentically with our Autism Jobs mission. I guess that's what I'm trying to say. And so we want people to buy the product first because it's really good. Like, it tastes really, really good. It's made with clean ingredients. It's gluten-free. It has all the things they're looking for, and it enhances their life. Oh, and by the way, we do good in the world by creating jobs for people with autism and allowing them the opportunity to have paid work. And so, I feel like once I was able to kind of put those things together and look at our company as not just a company that makes food, but a company that makes food and does good in the world, I think, things kind of took a different trajectory for us.
And one thing that I think is really neat is that your son leads that charge, does
Yep.
all the training, and so it's really given, he's very connected to it.
Yeah.
And he understands the challenges, but it's given him purpose within the family business.
It has, yeah. August is our lead trainer. And I love to share his story. Obviously, I'm very, very proud of him and all of that he's overcome and all that he's accomplished. But he's also such a really great example of what a life can be with continued persistence and support. So he has 2 jobs. So he's our lead trainer, and he also is a job coach for Janus Developmental Services. So that's he spends most of his week there, and then they share him with us. We share him with, either way, we share him. And he does our lead training for our program on Wednesdays. But he's really just such a good example. And for our trainees that come into our program, to see another young person that lives with a disability being successful, being independent, is really powerful. And so he does it with just such charm and grace and authenticity that it's, and he's a coach too, so he's coached football for a lot of years. And so that is part of his personality. He's just a natural coach. People are kind of drawn to him for that. But yeah, he's very impactful.
So, new product, really, you're in the middle of
Brand new.
launch, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the bites, which, by the way, I think is a phenomenal product, and I think I'm guessing you feel the same way, but I think it's going to really propel your company. But what's it like you've been in business a while now, but to have a new product launch that's in a slightly different direction.
It is.
It's the same category, but different direction.
Yeah, and an additional category too. So we're doing a presentation with Kroger in their natural packaged snack set. So like moving out, we'll have our Warrior snack mix in the granola section, but this is more of a true snack as opposed to a granola. So so we're really excited about that. And it is a little different. And one of the things we've learned too, the hard way, I feel like, we learn everything the hard way, it seems like, but that Warrior snack mix is unknown. Like people, to do it over, we would have probably called it something else because people don't really understand what it is. And so it requires some explanation. It does really great when we can do live demos and tastings and things like that. And people can taste, like, oh, that's what that is. Okay, I want that. But it requires, it's not a potato chip. Everybody knows what a potato chip is, right? A Warrior snack mix, like if you saw that on, an advertisement or something, chances are you might not know what it was. So it's required some additional explaining. But one of the things, the granola cookie bites, one of the things we did very intentionally is we called out the word cookie in blue letters on the package so that people would identify with something that didn't need explained. So.
Cool. So 2 more things before we jump into questions.
Yeah.
One is, if you had to give one piece of advice, if there's one thing you could share to the next generation of leaders and entrepreneurs, what would that be? And then we'll do a selfie before we get into the questions.
Okay. I think the biggest piece of advice that I would say is once you've created something that you believe in it. and build a tribe of people around you that also believe in it and in you. And then just stay true to that and shut naysayers out, because they're out there and they will get to you, but block yourself from all of that, and stay true to you and the product that you've created and the people that you've built around you.
Okay. All right. Well, you have your phone right.
I do.
Okay. We'll
Yeah.
use your phone. And we have Kayla who loves the selfies.
Kayla, you're the girl.
So
We-
and we we try our best, but we just
Will you help-
demographically
will you
we
help
struggle
us, Kayla?
with this.
Yeah.
All right, I'll give that to you. Thank you. And thank you for everyone for showing up today.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Kayla. Thanks, Kayla. Okay, questions?
I just wanted to say, in my time of working at the airport over the summer with my mom, we had tried your granola bites.
No way.
That's why I recognized the Hudson, because there's like a lot of those stores in the airport.
Oh my gosh.
I was just vouching that it was good.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Well, can I ask, what kind of work do you do at the airport?
When I worked there, I worked in 1933.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Awesome. Thank
Can you
you.
repeat that for the rest of what he said?
Oh, he works at 1933,
Oh, okay.
which is a really nice restaurant.
I actually don't have a question either. I just want to say that I grew up in Noblesville. I
Yeah.
played football for 15 years.
Get
and
out of here.
I love him.
Ah.
He, like every day I went there, he was just amazing. And it's incredibly, he always talked about it too. And it's incredibly cool to like see like it behind the scenes and stuff. Because I heard about it and like I was just incredibly, it's incredibly cool
Aw.
to see all of this and like put a face to like all of the stuff that I heard about growing up. So,
That's really neat. What's your name?
Nathaniel.
Nathaniel. It's nice to meet you. Thank you for sharing that. I'll make sure to tell Augie.
So we're working on a little collaboration with Jen, and where we like share a piece, and then we share our story and their story on a card. So there you go. Oh, I can push that. Yeah.
Okay, so I know that you said that a really big portion of like what got you to this point was like her family and like family oriented. I just wanted to ask like, my stepmom owns a business herself. And that's like kind of her big selling point is that like her family matters. That's how she started her stuff too.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want to ask like, do you feel like if you didn't have that type of backbone family, that you would have gotten even close to where you've gotten today?
Not a chance. I'm just saying, I would have never survived. I wouldn't have. My husband is in business with me as well too. He was a new car dealer his whole life. And in 2013, he left the car business for a whole variety of reasons. Some were very unfortunate. However, he saw that I had started building something that could be scalable, and he wanted to be part of it. So he came right alongside of me, and we've been all in on BeeFree since then. So I know for a fact that number one, I would not have been able to find a partner in business that I would feel so confident and trustworthy with. And then just to build something with your family it's really special, and it's really very impactful. So thank you for that. Good luck to your mom. Do you want?
You said there was a lot of challenges, like.
Yeah,
said
I got
there
you.
was a lot of challenges, like starting the business and stuff. What's like your best? Because I want to own my own business someday. What's your like best tip to like stay the course and like not give up at like I guess the start of the journey?
Knowing your why.
Yeah.
Knowing your why. And you probably hear that. You've all heard that a bazillion times, but it's true. I mean, and even today, like I'm dealing with some things right now that are really challenging. And, there's some days I'm like, gosh, why am I doing this? Like, why am I up until 1 o'clock at night working on a presentation? Why am I doing all this? So just remembering your why and having a support. If you just have one support person in your life, golden. So I think those would be two things: remembering your why and just having somebody that you can talk to or that has your back, that will build you up when you're having those hard days is important, I think.
Thank you.
Sure.
And as you know, Jen, one of the exercises we do in this class is like find your purpose kind of in
Yeah.
a whole week, 2
Right.
sessions.
Yep.
And they walk through, what are your passions, what are your interests, what do you care about? And the exercise itself is important to find that today, like now.
Yeah.
But it's also important to know how to go through that, because things change.
They do.
right?
Yeah.
Life changes and.
For sure.
So I know you mentioned like how your brand is like healthier than all the others. But with granola being such like a large market, what would you say was like your beginning business strategy to really like, because like, people will have to like look at the bag and to see that you have like the different ingredients that are healthier. What was like the strategy for getting that attention?
We wanted our product to be different in some way because you're right. When you look at the granola category, there's so many choices, and a lot of them are alike, right? So we wanted to make ours, we wanted to differentiate ours just a little bit, and we did that by making our granola in like a snackable granola, so that it could be an on-the-go snack. And that's kind of what we held on to. So our product is in clusters or chunks, so you can just tear open the package and eat it wherever you are. So that was one way that we decided how we could be a little bit different. And not a me too. I don't know that that's really used a whole lot, but when in the earlier, like back in 2014, when we were first pitching Kroger, one of our buyers with Kroger said to us, they thought we were a me too.
Besides what the median statistics say, like about your company, within your business, what would you truly say your biggest accomplishment is? And like, what's the one thing that really led you to achieve it?
You think. I'll buy some time here.
Okay.
So first off, Hagen's Berry Bomb, my personal favorite. So there you go. The other thing I think is interesting about you branded each of these around a family person's name.
Yeah.
To make it personal and good strategy.
Yes.
So.
That was also, to your point, to your question as well too, that was one of the things that we were doing on the front of our package is naming each of our flavors after a family member, like Hagen is our second born son. And so, yeah, so each of our products bears the name of a family member. So just kind of playing into that, we're a little different than a Kellogg's or a Kind, or, because we have a personal family element. So back to your question, there have been a lot of things I've been really, really proud of in growing BeeFree. And one is, I'll just be real. One is we survived COVID when we had every reason not to survive. We survived. That was a really big deal, and that was a massive accomplishment for us. Another one is that we've been able to surpass $1 million in sales. We're a women-owned company. I think the statistics are 1% of women-owned businesses ever reach $1 million. So, I'm really super proud of that. I'm not really one to talk about myself and, how I've done things, but I have been able to bring a group of people together on our team that together I feel like has a lot of pride in what they do, and they feel good about our brand and building a brand together. And our son is a really big part of that, and that he wants to be part of that is probably one of my proudest. So,
Hello.
thank you for your question.
Hello.
There we go. Thank you. Hi.
I just had a quick question. Before you did granola, did you have any other conceptions for other food products that you were going to do, but then switched over to granola?
That is an excellent question. Yes, we started our company with cookies, mostly cookies. We made cookies, pizza dough. We made these little lemon loaves. People still ask me for those lemon loaves. That was 15 years ago. So yes, and it was the hardest thing for me to give those up because number one, they were really good. We made a vegan cowboy cookie, a chocolate crinkle, and a snickerdoodle cookie. They were like big cookies, individually wrapped. We sold them in the bakeries of Whole Foods and Earth Fare. They had about a 3-day shelf life. So guess what? They didn't last very long. They had a lot of problems with them, and so we pretty quickly shifted to a product that was shelf stable, that was in a package that could be put on a truck and shipped all over the country. So yes, but it was hard for me to give those up, but I think one day, and that's part of where the granola bite cookies came from, because I've been wanting to bring a cookie into our line again. So, but sometimes you have to put things on the back burner until it makes more sense. And I feel like those are things that I still have those recipes. People still ask for them. So I feel like we'll bring those back at some point when it makes sense. So.
Yeah, and not to put you on the spot, but because I remember thinking last spring when you were sharing the Hudson News thinking that seems like a really good get to me because I call it travel mode. When people go into travel mode, they don't really look at price so much anymore. It's kind of right there. People are killing time. I think it'd be a good first step of testing your product. Like, oh, that looks interesting.
Exactly. Yeah.
So hopefully it's worked out that way.
It's been a really, really good chat. They call that travel retail. And so I actually am waiting today or tomorrow. I should have an answer for another travel retailer partner called Parodies LaGuardia. You might know that one if you've been in the airports. But so hopefully we'll have even more exposure and more airport business soon.
When you first started your business and when you have to take risks and stuff, do you feel any fear? And if so, how do you work through that?
Yes, fear. Fear is real everywhere. It is. And I would say that some of my tactics are, I first I want to have calculated risks. Right? So I kind of want to have an idea of what am I up against? If I choose this, what am I up against? If I choose this, what am I up against? To the best of my knowledge, clearly things come up that we don't expect, but I rely on my husband and my team really to help me fact check things, to help me kind of make decisions on is this a good use of our time, our resources, and but the fear is real, and I think that it's just part of it. I mentioned earlier about getting comfortable with being uncomfortable. I think fear is in that same bucket. Like, just get your hands around. There are things that are going to be scary, but I think one thing that helps keep me going too is that if I always have this sense of urgency. Like, I always feel like if I don't do this one thing that's been laid on my head or on my heart, somebody else will. And I want it to be me, right? So I think that just kind of operating of, okay, it's going to be big and scary, but I will never know unless I try. and then also looking at the worst thing, like what's the worst thing that could happen. And I always kind of go there anyways. It's just the way my head works, right? I always just go there first. So yeah, I could talk, you could tell, I live in fear a lot. And I can talk about it a lot, but go for it is what I say.
So, first off, I'm not really a granola person, but I have been looking for healthier snacks to eat. So I'm excited to go and find it and go and try it.
Oh, good.
But my question is, you talked about how you were in fashion. So what was the biggest challenge or biggest difference that you saw from going to like fashion retail to food retail?
Yeah, for me, it's a learning curve. You know, I mean, I knew how to merchandise things in a department. I knew how to put things together. I knew, visually how to, there are some similarities, right? So things are better in threes. And I kind of took some of that from fashion as well too. But on a shelf, things are better in odd numbers, 3, 5, 7. They just look better. And you get a variety of colors there as well too. So there are a lot of similarities. The differences mostly as far as the look of a department. There are a lot of similarities. You want it to look neat and tidy. You want it to be organized. You want it to be visually interesting and attractive and not too busy. So you can kind of apply those same things with an outfit. Or a department in a department store too. So I think there actually are more similarities than there are differences.
Talking about the packaging, those of you who receive those, they don't do the sneak peek, I guess.
The window.
Yeah, the window anymore, because you learned that it's actually photos are better than the real thing.
If your photo is good.
Yes.
If you have good photography, and if the product really looks like the photo. We've all had things that you bought something and you look and you're like, you open the package, you're like, what? That doesn't look anything like the photo on the front. But I think when you open that, you'll realize that that's a pretty good photo. Like that photo really looks like what's inside.
Yeah.
So, and if it doesn't, you let me know.
Do we have one in the middle here? No? You have another one? Okay.
So, what is your favorite part about being knowledgeable about the fashion industry and also now the food industry? Like, what's your favorite thing to tell people, and what gets you excited when you walk in the door of your business?
Well, there's just a massive charge that goes on when you see a product that you created on a store shelf, wherever that is. It's just exciting. I mean, it is. 15 years later, it still excites me to see a BeeFree product on a shelf anywhere. So I don't know that that's really ever going to go away. And probably because we just work so hard. We work so hard to get our product on the shelf. We continue to work so hard to get our product on more shelves and more customers' hands that I hope that feeling never ends.
Okay, well, I want to thank you, Jen, for
thank you.
investing so much in our students for so long.
Thank you. It is the highlight. It really is. This is the highlight of my week, of my month, to just be here. And you'll share my contact info, so if anybody wants to, oh yeah, there it is. So look, you could take a picture of that or put me in your phone if you want. But I mean it when I say if I can do anything or offer advice or be there for you or be an encouragement or you want one idea by, please reach out and connect with me.
By the way, if you did not get a